So for the past 4 years, I've been training Muay Thai at Eight Limbs Academy in West Philadelphia. Before I started Muay Thai, I did nothing. Like, I did track for 1 semester in middle school because my mom made me. I was bad at it. She realized she hated being a sport parent, and I did nothing since then. But when I got into Muay Thai in West Philly, part of my reason for doing so was because just living in Philadelphia, taking SEPTA all the time, I dealt with a lot of street harassment. And I knew myself well enough to know that I'd absolutely fight people back. And I figured I should know how to fight and not just go off of like pure aggression. So I got into Muay Thai, and I also was looking for kind of a community because I'm originally from Minnesota. I don't have any family out here. And at the time I was working 100% remote. So I didn't even have like coworkers to talk to. So I wanted something that would help me in terms of self-defense, but would also provide me with maybe a place to just like meet and connect with people. When I first started training Muay Thai though, I never thought about competing at all. Because to me, fighters, like people who got in the ring, that was something you needed a lot of athleticism to do, which I didn't think that I had. And I also thought it was something you needed to have been training in since you were like a child. So I was starting at the age of 24. I just figured that was out of the question for me. But the more I started doing Muay Thai, the more I really got interested in it. The more I really kind of fell in love with it. And the more I realized that like, that I'm built for it. Just in terms of like pure physicality. For those who don't know Muay Thai, it's Thai kickboxing. So you're punching, you're kicking, you have knees, you have elbows. And it's a sport that really prioritizes, or like you do really well if you're just long. Like if you have the reach advantage in terms of your arms and your legs, and I have long arms and I have long legs. I'm also left-handed, so I stand southpaw. And if you don't know anything about boxing or anything about kickboxing, all you need to know is that most people aren't southpaw, and that makes you annoying to fight because most people are not familiar with it and they're not comfortable with the angles. And B, your power hand is lined right up for either somebody's face or for somebody's liver. So it's a nice stance to be. It's really great for me. So yeah, I think I started in January of 2020, which was like right before COVID shutdowns. So in a way, it kind of worked out for me because I was not in shape at all. And so I remember when I first started training, I used to like go hide in the bathroom during like our class finishers, which is just a bunch of like burpees or high knee jumps or whatever, just the coach trying to kill you. And I could not keep up. I couldn't do 10 push-ups. I couldn't hold a plank. And even though I knew nobody was watching me, you always still feel like somebody's watching and judging you. So when COVID started, my gym transitioned to Zoom classes, and during those Zoom classes I had literally nothing else to do, so I took every single class and I slowly started to get into shape so I could do the push-ups and I could hold the plank. And when I came back to the gym, I wasn't good by any means, but I felt much more confident in myself and like my physical abilities. And then let's see, I started competing in June of 2022. So right now I have 5 fights total. My first ever fights were at a tournament in Des Moines, Iowa. So I flew from Philly to Iowa with a bunch of my gym members, my teammates. And for my first fight, I remember a friend of mine texted me and was like, hey, the tournament has an app. And on the app, it lists like your opponent, their names, what gym they're from. And he sent me the name of the girl. And I was like, why the hell would you do that? I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want that information. In my head, she's not a real person, and I don't want her to be a real person until I get in that ring. I'm like, now you just gave me anxiety. So yeah, I was nervous going into the fight. I remember my coach though, she was standing next to me, and she was like, you have to ask yourself, are you nervous or are you just excited? Because it could feel remarkably similar, but the way you kind of work through a process, like just being excited to go, being excited to show off what you've been training so hard and like so long for, that's completely different to you being like really just nervous to get in the ring. And so with that, I kind of realized, no, I was more excited. Like, of course, there's always still going to be that little underlying bit of nerves. You're going out to fight in front of a bunch of people. There are a bunch of spectators at the tournament. But at the end of the day, I was excited to like show off what I could do. And yeah, that fight, I I think within the first 30 seconds or something, I 8-counted her with a kick to the liver. I think I got 2 8-counts in that round. A fight ends if there's 3 8-counts in a single round, and I think 4 overall at that tournament. Don't quote me on that last part though. But I definitely 8-counted her again. I broke her arm with a kick at one point, and then her corner threw in the towel after I dropped her with a head kick, because the ref wasn't doing his job. That fight should have been stopped ages ago. But yeah, so I did very well in my first fight, and it kind of sucked because I had 2 more fights that weekend, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna top that. Like, I cannot perform any better than I just did in that fight. But yeah, it was a really good experience. I remember after the fight, 2 things. My coach, in between rounds, when I got that first 8-count, he told me, okay, her body's hurt, so I want you to hit the body and then box her, like go for the head. And so I did in my own way. I'm a terrible boxer. So that's why I decided I'm going to kick her in the body. I'm going to kick her in the head. We're just going to kick. And so after the fight was over, I walked back to my corner and he was like, you didn't listen to me at all. And I'm like, I did. I did my version of it. And then in Muay Thai, you know, it's customary to go hug your opponent afterwards because it's like, you're not enemies. You just fought for like those 6 minutes, those 9 minutes, whatever. So when I went to hug her though, I was still having the massive like adrenaline dump because that just happens your first couple of fights. And I didn't notice that when I went for the hug, she was like kind of saying no. And so afterwards, that's when people told me, they're like, yeah, no, you broke her arm. They're like, she started holding her arm really low during the fight, and when you went to hug her, she couldn't use her arm. That's why she was trying to say no to a hug. And I was like, I didn't notice that at all. But yeah, I'm 4 years in now, 5 fights. I went to Bangkok for a month last year. I fought out there. So Muay Thai has become like a really, really big part of my life. All the friends that I have in Philadelphia are like from my gym. And yeah, I'm really excited to see like just how far I can go with like a sport I kind of just stumbled into.